Hello everyone, I'm Gauri Kashyap and you're watching SEO Explains. The highly anticipated 2024 general elections are over. After months of rallies, controversies, heated primetime TV and WhatsApp family group debates, on 4th June, the numbers were out. The Supreme Court had been busy in the run-up to the elections, even during the 7 phases of voting across the country. Many wanted the Supreme Court's attention on burning issues of vote tampering, election funding and more. It had gone as far as Derek O'Brien of the All India Trinamool Congress demanding in March in a tweet or X post that the 18th Lok Sabha elections be monitored by the Supreme Court. He was raising alarm over the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party destroying institutions like the Election Commission of India. Now, O'Brien's demand for Supreme Court supervision was not much more than a passionate tweet, but it's a good jumping point to talk about the various ways in which the Supreme Court was invoked this election season. Now, O'Brien might not have followed up on this absurd ask, and I say absurd only because Article 324 of the Constitution squarely vests the duty of conducting elections with the Election Commission, but several others approached the Supreme Court for their own election-related requests. On 13th May, for instance, the Supreme Court heard a plea of a Delhi resident who sought the removal of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who had just been granted bail to campaign for the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, Arvind Kejriwal's bail conditions had barred him from signing any official files, which had prompted the gentleman from Delhi to approach the court. The court, of course, dismissed the matter while reminding the petitioner that they had no legal right to back their case. They suggested that the Lieutenant Governor would be the proper authority to consider their request. The very next day, the Supreme Court dismissed another petition which was seeking a ban on Prime Minister Narendra Modi from contesting elections. The petition contended that the PM's alleged hate speeches had violated the Model Code of Conduct. The court said that the petitioner would have to approach the relevant authority again, and this time it was the Election Commission of India. But of course, not every case that goes to court with regards to election is ill-considered. In February, we know that the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment. It quashed the electoral bond scheme and found that unlimited corporate funding could unduly influence Indian elections. And it also found that a donor's right to privacy could not trump a voter's right to information. And they also found that the electoral bond scheme threatened free and fair elections. In a more recent judgment from 26th April, the court expressed its confidence in the ECI's EVM VVPAT mechanism after hearing concerns that the system was susceptible to interference. In this case, the court put on record its trust in the electronic system. Over many months before, it had dismissed several pleas that were seeking the return to paper ballots. Also in April, the Supreme Court heard civil society members from Rajasthan about the inordinate delays caused by state authorities and executive magistrates in granting permission for public gatherings during the Lok Sabha election. The court was emphatic in imposing a 3-day deadline for the processing of all such applications. Now, like this, petitioners have come kicking and knocking even after the Supreme Court has deliberated and decided on matters. For example, against the electoral bonds decision, a review petition has been filed by a lawyer who was threatened with contempt charges for disrupting the hearings. Another review petition against the VVPAT decision claims that the judgment is replete with mistakes and errors. Now, when the Supreme Court comes back from its summer vacation in July, a new government will have settled in. But election-related cases will not have dried out. On the court's list will be a petition seeking an SIT probe into every allegation of quid pro quo transactions and kickbacks connected to electoral bond scheme. It will also hear a batch of petitions filed against the appointment for election commissioners, which currently lends an advantage to the party in power at the centre. In a country where there's always an election or 3 in the front and rear view mirrors, the Supreme Court's election duty is unlikely to end. As always, we'll be tracking these key developments on our website, theseobserver.in. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn and more, and read our reports online. Thank you for watching.